The Dallas Opera is one of the most prestigious artistic institutions in the nation and is rightfully one of the crown jewels of our city. A beacon of American technological and cultural prowess, the Winspear Opera House and all inside it exemplify the power of the American identity. Opera, originally a European art form, took hold in America during the Gilded Age, when high-class and Industrial Revolution tycoons like the Vanderbilts and Horace Tabor constructed opera houses throughout the country to show off their wealth and prestige. With the large influx of European immigrants during the early 20th century, opera gained a mass audience. Therefore, opera's place in American culture is a result of two uniquely American concepts: the American self-made man and the melting pot.
Oh, I think it's absolutely ingrained in American culture. Here in the city of Dallas alone, the opera has a history of 60 years. 60 years is a long time for a company like the Dallas Opera to have been a part of the Dallas artistic framework.
The Dallas Opera Company opened in 1957 at Fair Park under the leadership of Nicola Rescigno.
Rescigno is a genius, an absolute master of conducting. So he is the history of the company. It was his reputation and his artistry that brought the people that showed us what could be.
To open the whole story was a great legendary singer, Maria Callas. I think it was Medea. She sang Medea of Cherubini.
A 1958 recording of Callas and Rescigno in Cherubini's Medea survives and is widely regarded as the greatest recorded rendition of the opera.
What Maria Callas, I have in the archives, what she was making at that time, and if we translate it to today's fee, she was making something ridiculous like, $300,000 per performance. And, there's an unspoken top fee around the world that no one really sings an operatic performance, the theater, for more than $19,000-$20,000 around the world.
The 1960 season saw Joan Sutherland at the beginning of her illustrious international career, in her American debut, and over the next 40 years, countless other world-famous artists like Fiorenza Cosotto, Alfredo Kraus, and Placido Domingo.
I had an unforgettable experience with Joan Sutherland. We were doing a stage rehearsal with piano, and suddenly she was singing, and I was elated, and I just remember wanting to turn to see her, but I had no idea what direction to turn, because her voice, her sound, saturated the air like nothing I'd ever heard.
When we moved from old building to the new one, we decided to read all of the names of deceased artists and present artists who ever sang here, so they moved with us, sort of, kind of mystical invitation of dead and alive into the new building. And I must say it took us an hour just to mention those names. That many great singers sang here.
At the turn of the 21st century, the Dallas Opera was still maintaining a standard of excellence.
We've been very mindful about bringing in fantastic performers to complement some of the great operas that have been produced on the stage.
We can't deny that there was a massive history of 30 years under the leadership of Jonathan Pell and Graham Jenkins that, solidify and put the Dallas Opera, through 1994 to 2014, like it's very important.
With the near completion of the Winspear Opera House, the bar was set for 2008 to be a high point in the Dallas Opera's history. Then everything changed when the market crashed.
During that era, a lot of companies went under. You know, like a lot of companies to operation. Opera Cleveland went out. New York City Opera went out. San Diego almost is like went down, but there was some kind of like crowdfunding and donors that decided to kind of revive it, but they're not at full steam the way there was.
The crash, it dried up a lot of the funds that would normally come to the company from a philanthropic perspective, and because of that, the company had to make some very dire decisions.
My boss, Keith Cerny, he had to make tough choices. You know, he had to reduce the offering. Instead of doing 5 shows, only 3, and ride the wave of having a gorgeous new theater, but only doing three productions a year. So where we asking our donors is to see, even though like the quantity is less, the quality actually has improved. So imagine what we can do if you give us more funds.
Our opera family were actually very appreciative of the hard decisions that we made, and they responded well once they were in a better position to come back and start supporting us again.
Today, the Dallas Opera balances a traditional approach to opera with ever-progressive strategies to appeal to a wider audience. Each season, the opera simulcasts several performances for free in a variety of locations throughout the Metroplex.
One thing I really like is that how much that park has enhanced what goes on here in Dallas, and that they've had operas in the park, and even the videos being shown in the park while it's going on in the theater.
Furthermore, the Dallas Opera is deeply involved in the Hart Institute for Women Conductors, which tries to bridge the gender gap among conductors.
We found that there was a lot of imbalance in the field of conducting, on how many performances male conductors were leading at the top opera houses in the world. And we launched the initiative in January of 2015. We had our first class in 2015, November. Residents here, where they get 2 weeks of orchestra time, piano classes and master classes, top conductors teaching them, managers coming to see them, and we develop them like, marketing, PR, image consultant, everything that you need to know to become a professional artist of a higher caliber.
The Dallas Opera has also led the way in the premiering of new operas.
We had 3 world premieres in 1 calendar year. That's virtually unheard of in the opera world. We've done projections and incorporated projections as part of the production. In the production Everest, where you've got cubes and the back of the cube is further away than the front of the cube, but yet it's projected onto the cube and it's all in focus, and it's fascinating technology. Break out of the norm. Just one time. Give it a shot. Give it a try. And if it's not your cup of tea, no harm, no foul. Boom, you're gone. And that's cool. But chances are, there's a portion of you who are going to walk out of that performance who are blown away, going, I had no stinking idea it was like that.